Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and now for the flip side of the E3 conference. Now, yesterday I did the top 7 games that I'm excited for after watching E3 2015, but today I'm going to take the more cynical side. Like I usually am, I tend to be more cynical more than anything else on game trailers and gameplay during E3. Part of the fact is that the game is not in my hands and I can't make a real judgment on it. Part of the fact is that I understand that the conference is to promote games, and games alone is advertisement. And part of it is the fact that I have so many games that I could show off right now. I could show people that are worth the time and money that they have right now, that a game that's coming out at the end of 2016 really doesn't do it for me. However, I understand that E3 is there for the consumer and there to get them excited about things. But with that said, I don't like shitting on things without a reason. So here's the thing, I'm going to break down the 7 disappointments I had during E3 and why they were disappointments. Whether it be a new practice or whether it be a game itself. Alright, here we go. Number 7, Doom. Alright, before we begin, put your pitchforks away. I'm not saying I'm not excited for it. I'm not saying that in the end I won't be taking a look at it. But after an initial good first impression while watching the conference, I broke down the trailer, as in this video right here, over and over again. I started to see a lot of cracks in the armor of the game, and the engine in particular, and that what I was shown on screen wasn't exactly what the game was supposed to be, and that really worries me. Too many inconsistencies in the trailers lead me to wonder if there are some problems with the game's design at the core, and what could possibly be alterations to the game for presentation purposes. That always worries me. It always worries me because it doesn't let the game actually speak for itself in terms of showing off its gameplay, and that usually is a problem. Look, I want the next Doom game to be great and to shut me up on this. I'd be more than happy to be wrong on this item in particular. But when it comes down to it, I see trouble for Doom on the horizon, and I can't ignore that at this point. Number 6, Metroid Prime Federation Force. Look, I'm not as silly to support a petition that canceled the game, but I won't sit here and say that I'm not disappointed at the announcement of the game. Games within a same universe of an already established franchise can work to help bring the world a little bit more complete content. But it also doesn't feel like this is the world with the art aesthetic they are going for with the main characters they chose in question for the Metroid Prime universe. And frankly, the game looks horribly dull. It doesn't look like anything that I'd really want to play. Now, I wasn't a fan of the 3DS DS version of the Metroid Prime Hunters game, and due to the control scheme on the DS and 3DS not really working for the FPS genre in my opinion, this game doesn't look any different from me. It looks too slow, and frankly, it doesn't look like it belongs. Now, sure, you've got the Blast Ball, which is basically a mini-game for it, but when you're advertising that, as long as the base game that you're going for in question, you've got an issue. Number 5, Sea of Thieves. Now, many may be surprised by this game on the list. A lot of people are excited for it, but frankly, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the game is at this point, and that's a major problem. Now, don't get me wrong, I hope Rare, after years of making games like Connect Sports Rivals, does something reasonable with Sea of Thieves. But I also don't have any confidence that they can at this point, with them hemorrhaging talent over the last several years. The thing is, I'm not sure what the game is at this point. Their signs point to an MMORPG-like experience with the names above players' heads, but there's also a first-person perspective from what I see to be in the CGI trailer. Now, the pirate theme is nice and all, and there's most certainly potential here, but I'm having trouble seeing what you're offering that isn't something like Black Flag, or what your focus on gameplay will be, and that's a problem. Now, I admit, the combination is what does this one for me. Rare needs to show me a lot more before I buy into anything they have lately, but they didn't convince me in this trailer. I want to see more gameplay, and I want to see exactly what you're trying to do. Number 4. The Division. Alright, there's several different levels of problems here for me. First of all, it's clear to me that Ubisoft has absolutely no clue how people act to each other's friends in-game when being on the same team. The dialogue between the players in this trailer is awkward, and frankly, the end of the trailer ends with some of the most stupid "I'm doing this for the loot" kind of thing I've ever seen. Now look, I love loot-driven games, but I also hate games that make you fight over the loot like the trailer showed, and that immediately turned me off of it. I'm more of a PvE kind of player, so in that aspect, the game has a point against it. But what really did it for me was, what did we learn about the actual story or the backdrop of the game? The thing is that there's an infection that's causing issues in the world. We knew that, but we didn't learn anything else. What exactly is causing the breakdown in society at this point? We don't know. And what I got from that? Absolutely nothing new. We learned a little bit about the tactics involved in the game, which I admit can be interesting if they were to show more than one segment of it. But if you're expecting me to just jump in right now to wanting to play your game with that little information, it's not going to work for me. And frankly, it's a kind of game that I wasn't exactly appealed to in the first place. I'd rather play some other kind of games, some first-person games. Here's the thing. I just don't see the draw with the Division for me. And frankly, nothing has changed on that. Number 3, system exclusive DLC. Now look, I have less problems with exclusive unlike some other people do. Now, I understand, it sucks, it really does. But here's the thing, that does drive competitions in terms of game and the quality that you have to offer. So while I would love that everyone has the same game on their system and it was never exclusive, I can see why it was exactly needed for that point. It does drive competition. There is a reason why you want to buy a Nintendo console. It's for the games that are specifically on the Nintendo console. But here's the counterpoint. When a game is on every system and every platform, the fact that there could be exclusive DLC for one platform, that drives me nuts. Because the thing is that making content for a specific console and not making it available for everyone else, that does piss me off. Because the effort is being made to make it available to everyone, but just because somebody threw money at it to get a little bit more towards your console, that's a problem. Now, I have less problems with the timed exclusive DLC, but even then I have a tiny bit of problems. At least at that point you'll be able to get that content. In particular, Arkham Knight and Assassin's Creed are doing this with the PS4, and with no indication that content will ever come to the other consoles. I feel sort of sad for people who have an Xbox One that can't experience the full game at that point. Now, knowing these kind of companies, they will eventually turn out to have that content to the other consoles, but the fact of the matter is that that's the system right now. And if this keeps on going, I really don't want to know exactly how a person's supposed to get the full experience, especially when DLC can be very good in terms of adding content later to the game. Number 2, Uncharted 4. Now again, probably a game that you weren't expecting to see on this list. But honestly, here's the thing about me and sequels. If you're the 4th game of a series, I really gotta see something new and something different. Something that really wants me to play the 4th game of your series. Now, people always point to the Mario titles and the fact that they never change. That's wrong. The fact is, they always change. Sure, it's the same base concept, and that's fine. But the thing is that they take a different iteration. They go 2D, they go 3D. They change up in terms of co-op. They change in terms of the goals of the game in question. And here's the thing I learned about Uncharted 4's gameplay demo. It's going to be more of the exact same. Now, granted, they have a vehicle section this time. Is that what I'm supposed to be excited about? But here's the thing. When breaking down that trailer and the way that the game played out, I really think it's on a linear track, that you don't have control of that. The thing is that the Uncharted games is always about the set pieces, the epic encounters. And I see that in this game as well. But it's not doing it for me. What I saw was the inconsistency in the physics of the particular in the car. That it didn't react naturally. That it wasn't you controlling everywhere you went, it was there for spectacle. And while that may work for some in terms of the game, in terms of the Uncharted series, for me, it's the 4th game of the series. If I wanted to play an Uncharted game as it is right now, I would go play the Uncharted games as they are now. Not to say they have to, flip the script and be entirely different. They don't have to be. But they have to offer something a little bit more at this point. Add something new, a new mechanic, a new portion to the gameplay that you need to show off. It doesn't have that, and I'm just struggling why I'd want to play this game in particular. Uncharted 3 already had started to bore me. This has done nothing to convince me otherwise. Number 1, Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, some people may think that I'm taking an easy target on a game that is to be released holiday of next year. But here's the thing. If you're announcing a title that's already been known by the gaming community, we knew there was going to be a 4th Mass Effect, and you decide to bring it forward during the conference on it, it better have content within it. Unlike situations like Nier 2, for example, where the game wasn't announced and it was a new IP that was being brought forward, that's a little bit different. Here, we knew about it. We knew exactly that there was going to be another Mass Effect game, that it wasn't going to have our wonderful Shepard. So ask yourself this, what was the purpose of information did we gather during that trailer? Well, the game's in space, okay, we knew that. That the N7 armor's there, okay, we could have guessed that. Now, other people point out there's a jetpack, it looks like you can jump with it. Okay, maybe. That really is hard to say given it's a cutscene, and we all know that they do ridiculous things in cutscenes at times, and that there may be some emphasis on exploration of planets. Okay, that could be it, but here's the thing. Other than that, we learned absolutely nothing about the game. It was just a bunch of animation, and even then, the information that I just presented there is debatable because it could be easily misinterpreted. It's a teaser, but it's the worst kind of teaser. The absolutely no information for a 4th game in the franchise kind of teaser. Nothing to get excited about story-wise. And the main point is, if the fact that you didn't have that much content to show off in terms of the gameplay or anything, it really worries me that with about a year and a half to go, that you are going to get that game ready for holiday 2016. Games take a while to develop, especially huge games like Mass Effect. And the fact is you weren't able to show me anything about it? Yeah, I'm worried. I am really, really worried. As a fan of all 3 games in the franchise, all it showed me was that they have a long way to go. And honestly, I look at that holiday 2016 date and I don't believe it. I don't believe that information is going to be there. It takes a while to create these kind of games, and especially of the quality that the 3 first Mass Effect games were. So honestly, I don't think that the Mass Effect Andromeda is coming the way that they presented it. And frankly, even if it did, it's really easy to say that it was, that because of the fact that there wasn't really much to that teaser.
Jumping around.
Now look, these games can come back and these ideas can come back and surprise me later on. Maybe the fact of the matter is that Mass Effect Andromeda will be the best game in the series. That's the thing about potential. It could go one way or the other. But of the games that I saw, these are the ones that I'm most worried about. But I want to hear what you guys think. Is there certain games that you're really concerned about? Are there games on the list that you expected? Now, I could have gone with things like FIFA or Madden or anything like that, but frankly, I don't care about those games. They're games that I'm not going to play at this point and really don't want to cover. So I didn't include them on the list. So, in the end, that was my thoughts on E3. Overall, E3 was better this year, especially with the emphasis on gameplay, but I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad we can get back to the fact that we can cover games that are coming out now and games that we can buy now. Alright, I will see you all later. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you've missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.